We're here today to talk about Rose Hill, and we have Carrie Clemens and her mother Ann Seeger, who lives in Rose Hill, and they're going to answer questions and tell us about the community. So Carrie, I'm going to let you start.
Okay. Rose Hill, as you know, is located on Highway 278 in Bluffton, and it's on the north side and the south side of the road. And when you show Rose Hill, you don't need to buy a pass. You can just show your realtor's card and get right in, so there's no problem there. If you have clients, though, be aware. Do not have them meet you at the gate, because if you have them meet you at the gate, the guard will send them to the Weichert office, and they will go in there. So make sure you meet them at the office or anywhere other than the Rose Hill gate. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the north side, which has the Rose Hill Mansion. It's important to know that this was an original plantation community that grew cotton and indigo. The Rose Hill Mansion is still there. It is dates back to 1718, and there's a big history in your handouts all about the Rose Hill Mansion and a little bit about the history. There is a historical marker in front of the mansion, so please, if you show the golf side or the north side, that you take them by the mansion. It's really easy to find. You go through the north gate and it's right after the polo fields. So by driving them by that mansion, you can give them a little bit about the history, which adds to the allure of Rose Hill. In early 1980s, it was taken over by Rose Hill Development Corporation. Not the mansion itself, but the rest of the land, and it was developed into the Rose Hill that we know today. The north side is called the estate side. South side we refer to as the golf side. So we're going to talk about the estate side first. Most of the property is about, the smallest one I know of is about 1/2 acre, and it goes all the way up to 4 acres, with the majority of it being around 2 acres. So they do get a lot of land. Let's see. If you go on the north side, you're going to find a pool, tennis courts, clay courts. You're also going to have a waterfront gazebo that's right on the Colleton River, and you're going to have a dock. So if anybody has a boat, they can launch right there. Now it is a tidal marsh that goes to the Colleton. Some of the properties on the north side do have docks, but if they buy a property on that water, make sure that they check with the ARB, because not all properties can have deep water docks. So make sure it's already permitted, just like you would do in another neighborhood. You can have horses on that side. Please, again, check with ARB. Not all properties on the north side can have horses. There's horse trails through there. And then the equestrian center that they have there has stables and paddocks and riding rings. And it's currently ran by Eddie Maple. Eddie Maple is a Hall of Fame jockey, and he's won many, many, many races. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah. He actually rode Secretariat. He didn't read Secretariat when Secretariat won, but he has ridden him. There's a handout all about him in there, and that's actually a really nice point to point out to people that are looking at the equestrian side. They're usually really impressed. You can take him out and walk him through the barn, and he'll show you around. On that side, there is one section called Belfair Point. That section is a flood zone, so you're going to notice that the houses are built up. But most of the other homes in the area are going to be in Zone C, unless they're on the marsh.
Near the 1/2 acre properties.
Yeah. Some of the homes are still on septic, so you have to be very aware. What was it, Martingale?
Oxen Lane, in that area.
Okay. There is city water and city sewer in the community, but not everyone hooked up. So if you're selling a vacant lot or a home that's a little bit older, make sure you ask them if they're on septic, because you can end up selling them something and they think they're on city sewer, and they're not. It's usually not a big issue.
It's city water, but it's...
And just sold a massive monster house that's on septic, and they're fine with it. So, so once you're on that side, show them around that side. There's Millionaires Row on that side. There's some homes that have won Lighthouse Awards. Dr. Parker from Coastal Vet, he lives over there, and there's some beautiful, beautiful homes over there. So going on to the other side, the south side now, which is the golf side, there's a golf clubhouse, there's more tennis courts, there's 2 more pools, and there's a playground, and that's all included in your dues. They've also built a tennis center, which is leased land, and that tennis center information is also in your brochure. The company that's doing that tennis center is also doing different organizations and things like that in Belfair, Berkeley, Indigo Run, and I'm going to try to find the name of it in just 2 seconds. And I don't know if I have the name. But that is actually separate. So if you have somebody that wants to be with a professional tennis center and not just the tennis courts, they can join that tennis center, but they don't have to. You can play tennis freely on the other courts if you want.
Where is that tennis center?
It's right here.
It's right across from the...
No, I mean, where is it physically located?
It's right next to the Golf Side Clubhouse, exactly across the street from it.
Okay.
Going back to the clubhouse, there is a restaurant in the clubhouse called Caddy's. They do different things for the community, like pasta night. They have, what is it, karaoke.
Friday, Wednesday night social. They also do charities every once in a while. And
right, so anybody can go to Caddy's. You don't have to live in Rose Hill, so they get a lot of Sun City people coming out for karaoke night and different groups. So that's something that you could always check out. If you have free time, you can go over to Caddy's and check that out. But it is nice to have a restaurant within the community. But again, it's not something that they're charging the homeowners for because they've actually leased out that space to the restaurant. Briefly, I wanted to mention about the golf course. The golf course used to be 27 holes. And those of you that remember a couple years back, the golf club went under, and Rose Hill actually bought the land for the back 9 holes, and they bought the rest of the golf course. They did that to prevent anyone from coming over and building condos, or, you know, there's a community called, what is it, Old South, Old Carolina?
yeah.
And some of those people had bought golf course homes. Now they're looking at the backside of townhouses and condos. So they own the land. There was an assessment on it. Most people, would you say, have paid it off?
At the beginning, if you paid all at once, $2,900. If you paid 7 years, which I'm doing, I have 1 more year to go at $500 a year. So it's 7 years now, going on 7 years.
So just make sure if you sell a house that you ask if they have any balance for the assessment for the golf course. But it actually really was a good thing because they never have to worry about someone coming in and building some ridiculous store or something there.
Do they have plans to build anything?
I was just going to say, we're allowed to build another building on it, such as a fitness center, but nothing else.
Okay.
And actually, when they sold it, I don't know how to say it, but the county came in and like the city water and something to do with the ecosystem. So we cannot build anything on that because of that.
Okay.
They made some
You have to have a certain amount of preserved land and so on and so forth. So, and you know, again, by leasing out the clubhouse, I mean the golf course like that, it keeps dues down. So you're not paying for a private club. The golf club does have specials for Rose Hill residents, which is also in your packet there, where you can buy membership. If you're not a big golfer and you only want to golf once in a while, it's like $39 in the winter, I think January and February for 18 holes, and it includes your cart, so you can't beat that. So if I was showing the island, maybe Hilton Head Plantation, and someone didn't want to be on the island, I would probably show them Rose Hill. It's got a mixture of homes, all different sizes. If they want land, you take them to the north side. If they don't, take them to the south side. There are patio lots on the south side, so for someone that doesn't want a lot of maintenance, perfect for them. And then some of the larger lots are on Greenwood, which you had a listing there, and White Oaks. So those would be the larger lots.
You are allowed to have a fence, but you have to get permission as to what kind of fence it is. It's usually the black wrought iron fence.
Right. You can have a golf cart. You just have to get a sticker from the Rose Hill Association. And just like any of the other plantations, if you decide to make changes, you have to go through the ARB. The association dues are $1,800 a year. There is a transfer fee right now, and
it just went up to $14.40. It was $13.50 or $13.80. It's $14.40 now. It's a one-time transfer fee. Usually the buyer pays for that.
So for $1,800, they're getting a semi-private golf course, a restaurant, regular tennis. If they want to join the tennis center, they can. They're getting an equestrian center, riding trails, 3 pools, playground. There's a barbecue area. They can launch their boat onto deep water. So it does have a lot of amenities. There's 24-hour roaming security and 2 manned guard gates as well. There are also clubs and organizations there, but one I wanted to point out was caring neighbors. So if you have somebody that's a little bit older, that's worried that they're going to buy a house and then maybe have to move into a retirement facility soon, Rose Hill has Caring Neighbors, which actually is a volunteer organization that goes around and checks on the elderly people if you sign up for it, and they'll take them to doctor's appointments. They'll make sure they're eating properly. They'll run them to the grocery store and just help them out so that they can stay in their home longer than if they were just on their own somewhere. And it's a really nice organization. There's a lot of volunteers. Anything else you can think of?
Is there any issues other than the septic tank houses that anybody should look out for that you're aware of that might get them in trouble as a realtor?
Don't speed through the neighborhood.
Okay, that's good
Never
advice.
tell anybody, because they will ticket you. Never tell anybody there's no alligators, because as I say, in every body of water here in Bluffton, there's an alligator. If there's not one, one's coming soon. You can have motorcycles, which is nice for that community. If you have a work vehicle, you need to cover the signs with some sort of tag, or you can get like a white magnet or something. You can't have work vehicles in the plantation.
You can have them in your garage, but not out at night.
Right, they have to be hidden.
Are you allowed to park boats or trucks or anything like that in your driveway?
No.
Well, you can have a truck, but a boat needs to go to the boatyard. There is boat and RV storage.
Okay.
You can have a truck, but it can't be, if it's a work truck, it has to be like a, what do you call a 4-wheel work truck. It can't be that big, huge
It can be like a semi.
Right.
Yeah.
But it
So-
can be like a,
Yeah.
it can be a van or.
Can it be a panel truck?
Yeah, we have a plumber that
Yeah.
lives next to her
He's got
and a Heritage Pest Control. And they just put magnets on the side of their car to cover up the verbiage.
Yeah, he has his truck out there.
And they can park in their driveway overnight as long as it's not.
As long as it's not,
Okay.
as long as it's
Right.
covered.
What about decals on a realtor's car?
Yeah, you can have them.
But you have to cover.
No, well, you can't have them overnight. You're not supposed to.
So if you take any clients in there,
Oh, you're
Oh, that's
fine.
fine.
You're fine.
Oh, you're
This
fine.
is just for residents that live there. They can't be advertising their job all night long. So if you're a realtor, you would just take the magnet off the car if you live there at night.
Or park it in the
Or
garage.
park it in the garage, right.
Oh,
But yeah, you're fine with showing.
I wanted to mention, you mentioned something about any
The
kind
budget.
of budget. The association is a sound financial position, and board has numbers, capital projects planned for 2013. Plans currently will close out 2013 with over $200,000 in the capital reserve. So that's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new board, we have a new manager now, and I think it's really coming along well. The golf course is coming along. It's pretty strong. It's has its little, what do you call
Issues, but all of them do.
But all of them do. But it's getting to be a better looking golf course now, and so people are starting to come more.
It's a nice golf.
It's a nice golf course now. But we're pretty strong now, and what else? You gonna say?
I was going to say for pricing on the golf side, you're usually looking about $250. If you're on Greenwood, they can go to $450. There are a few cheaper homes right now. There's 2 foreclosures. Both are about 150, 160, but they're basically land value. They are in dire straits. Be careful when you're showing the cheaper homes are usually along the road, 278 area, or near the power lines. And there are 4 buildings of duplexes all the way in the front, which are like townhouses, which was an anomaly. Most people don't know that they are there, but they are. There are some attached units in there, but everything else is single family. On the equestrian side, you're looking more about 300, 350 for a very small lower end, all the way up to $1 million, depending on where it's located. I don't know if I have anything
Days
else.
on the market. You were going to put that.
Yeah, there's in your brochure. I also have the average days on market, which is running about 4 to 6 months right now. Inventory is getting low, and that's pretty much all over Bluffton. So prices are starting to move, which is nice to see. Let's see, what do I have here? Anything else you want to add while I'm looking?
I can't think of anything. I go in a minute. Oh, people are going to be asking about the 170 road from Bluffton, not 170, but the Bluffton Parkway Road.
Right.
Coming behind my house. It's supposed to go behind Canebrake section, which I live off Canebrake, and it's supposed to be where the power lines are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about 600 feet behind my house, which is the park, what's his name, Parker?
Bill Barker Park.
Bill Barker Park. And but they're supposed to have a buffer, because I had asked them, they're definitely going to have a buffer along that area, even where the old Carolina is and Pinecrest. They're supposed to come near Pinecrest too, behind crossings, and come behind our place. But it's not written in stone yet. It's not, it's just, they're working on it, but it's something that people might ask you about.
But there is going to be a buffer.
Yeah,
So,
definitely
and
be a
you're supposed to
buffer.
not be able to see the road, but of course you're probably going to be able to hear it. But if that road comes through, it's going to affect more than just Rose Hill. It's going to, Glenda and I were just talking, it's going to affect Woodbridge, Rose Hill, backside of Shell Hall, Old Carolina, pretty much a good bit of communities over there. So, right now it's up in the air. It's like the casino. Who knows if it's coming or not. So just, don't not tell them that. If they ask, explain it to them. But until we know for sure what's happening, I mean, I wouldn't harp on it, because you don't want to discourage them from buying in there. So it's still a nice community.
How many homes have you sold in Rose Hill? Not you personally. Mm-hmm. How many homes have realtors sold in Rose Hill in, say, I don't know what information you have?
There was, I think, 24 homes that just sold.
In what time period?
I'm glad that you're sticking me on the spot.
I'm
here.
sorry.
Well, I know there's 33 homes available right now on
Okay.
both sides. I do know that. 24
was
homes, I
24
think,
in
from
6
September.
months?
Yeah, 6 months.
That's pretty good.
So it was
Yeah.
pretty good. It was a nice.
It's like one
there's
a
some,
week.
Yeah.
there's some higher priced homes that are going to take longer on the market. The
Well, like you
equestrian
said, 4 to
properties,
6
but-
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how many short sales do you have in there? You said you had 2 foreclosures.
There was 2 foreclosures.
Is that on the south side?
It's on the Gulf side.
There's very few short sales in
Yeah,
there.
there's
I
not a
think-
lot left.
I
That's
think-
what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, there's hardly any. The inventory is really getting low.
Okay.
Period. It seems like that all over Bluffton, but there's hardly any short sales anymore. There's the 2 foreclosures which are sitting there because they're really just land value, and maybe 1 short sale I think left on the estate side. But
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the good stuff,
Yeah.
not the white one, that one sold.
Oh, it did?
Mhm.
The one on Spartina Crescent, I think it's number 1. It's been on the market. It backs up from Picnic Colony Road.
Yeah, that's.
Mm-hmm.
That's been on the market a long time. That's a short sale.
That's a short sale?
Mhm.
Okay.
And there is a foreclosure on Martingale West. That was 500 and something thousand.
On the north side?
On the north side, right. Martingale
Okay.
West is the equestrian side,
All
the
right.
estate side.
Yeah, you can still find good deals over there, and it's a nice community, and it does have its uniqueness. It's not a brand new community. They didn't mow down
When
the
did
trees.
it start?
1980s is when the development company came in and subdivided the lots. And
Oh, you said that. I'm sorry.
that's
Are there
okay.
still lots available in there
Yes,
to build?
Yeah. There's actually a newer section. If you turn into the golf side, go left at the clubhouse in that back section. There's a builder back there building several new ones. So they're able to actually have a lady coming in, and she's buying on Greenwood, my favorite street, and she's going to build. So they're pretty good. They used to be really tough with new builders. New builders would shy away from building in there because their guidelines were pretty tough, but they've loosened up a lot, so we're starting to see.
So what are their guidelines, do you know? What's the minimum square footage on?
Is it,
Minimum square footage on our side, I think it's like
18.
1,400
Okay.
on the golf side. On the equestrian side, I think it's like
closer to 2.
closer to 2,000. I think it's more like 1,800 to 2,000.
But
Are
most
there
of the
any
homes,
maximums?
but
Okay.
most of the homes on the equestrian side are larger than
Right.
2,000. Most of them are start around 3,000 and go up because it's just too small,
Right.
unless they're an older home that have been there for a while.
And the other thing is you can have an extra house on the equestrian. You can have like a mother-in-law suite. I mean,
An
another
actual
house,
freestanding house,
a
which is nice.
freestanding house you can have plus a barn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it depends how big it is. There is one place near what's it?
Ghost
Longview. Near Ghost Pony, but no, Longview. That has they grandfathered in. They own like 18 acres or something like that. 18.
Mhm.
How many acres? Well, anyway, that's grandfathered in, and they pay. The sad thing is, they pay the same thing that we pay for the association dues. We pay on a little patio lot, 1,800. 5 acres, 1,800. 18 acres, 1,500. So 1,800. I mean, so it's kind of not.
Well, they're
know.
paying for your community
You're paying
and
for
your
your
use.
amenities, so
Yeah.
you're still going to get the same security patrol and the
Right.
same
Right.
everything
Yeah.
else.
Right.
So-
That's,
So,
yeah.
but it's a unique place, and it's a pretty place,
Right.
and there's tons of trees, and the clubs are great. There's an Asta Club and Lunch Bunch and dinner clubs and ladies golf, the Rosebuds.
So let me ask you, if the community started developing in the 80s, are there any homes other than the mansion that are older than that?
There's one gated lot all the way in the back
That's what I was
side
telling you,
of, do you know what I'm going to say? And I've not been there. It's a gate within a gate, and
Okay.
that's the community. That's the section that the guy owned the land, and they just kind of
Yeah.
grandfathered
That's what I
him
was
in.
saying. 18. I don't
It's
know. If
Belfair
it's 18
Point.
acres or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the only other lot back there, and it's got cannons on the front and a big
Oh,
gate.
cool.
And
It's like their own little island. If you look on the map, it has like 3 sides of water.
it's beautiful.
Nice.
But the whole point is if you show Rose Hill, please take them by the mansion and show them that. There's a historical marker out
Yeah.
front, and that really, really, I mean, people have weddings there. They do wine tastings that the public can go to. And as you're going there, you're going to drive by the polo fields. Make sure you point out that they have polo events twice a year for charity, which are really fun events. Everyone wears their hat and has little tents, and they drink wine, and it's just a nice, friendly place to be.
And one more thing, I just want you to know that they're starting to get the families involved now. With the playground, they just paid, I think, 25, how much was that? Like 250,000 or something like that for the playground and for the children. So they're starting to get the families more involved. They had like an Easter egg hunt. They had Halloween, and now they're really starting to get the children and families involved, which is good. And
It's bringing in more younger
Yeah.
families to the golf side. So
Okay. Are we good?
yes.
Because we're out of time.
that's it.